Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host Sheri, and on today's DIY Wednesday video, we are going to make some very affordable mosaic tile top end tables for our backyards. Or actually, you can put them wherever you want. I'm gonna put mine in my backyard and we're gonna make them today. So, I don't know if you remember or not, but I created a fire pit area out in my backyard, and Stacy's Aunt Diane gave me 4 patio chairs to put out there. Well, I've always wanted some tables out by the fire pit area, so if you're sitting there, you have somewhere to set your drink. If you're having a snack, set your snack. So I wanted to make some very affordable end tables. That was always the plan, but I just never, had the right idea of what I wanted to put out there, because again, I wanted to be affordable. I actually wanted to repurpose something, but I had nothing to repurpose. And then I was scrolling through the YouTubes and I saw this girl use these darling mosaic tiles to make a table, and I was like, I need those mosaic tiles. And so I ordered them. Now, they do have a couple of colors, and if you're interested in these, I got them from Amazon. I will put the link in the description box below. I actually ended up getting 2 containers of the tiles because I wasn't sure how big of side tables I was going to make, because I didn't have the side tables yet. So I bought this pack, which is like a muted-y, like a pink, a mustard yellow, a muted-y red, and an orange. And then I also got a pack that is more rainbow, I guess you could say. It had like blue, lavender, green, red, bright yellow. And I was gonna do a combination of both. But now that I actually found an end table, technically it's a stool, I don't need to use 2 containers, which is good because these containers are not cheap. On the Amazons, these were $23 a container. It doesn't say on the package how much it is, but I wanna say it was like 500 grams. What does that mean in tiles? I have no idea. I wish they would have told you how many actual tiles are in here, but they don't. So it was a guessing game. I have another container and I'm gonna return it because I'm not gonna use it and I wanna save $23. Now, as far as the side table is concerned, like I said, I had nothing I could repurpose, reuse, recycle. I had to find something. And I was hoping to find something for free on the side of the road or super cheap at a yard sale, and that was not happening. I scoured the planet. I went to Mission Thrift, they had nothing. The Ambets thrift store, they had nothing. Oh, let's go. Oh, you guys are gonna die. This story, it's gonna be a sidebar story. If you don't wanna hear a sidebar story and you just want me to get started on mosaic tiling this table, you can skip ahead. In searching the land for a very affordable side table that wasn't already done and cute and that I could mosaic tile top, I went to the Big Lots. One of our Big Lots in town is going out of business. They're not all going out of business, it's just this one particular one. This week, because you know how when they go out of business, they start with 20% off the entire store, 30% off. Well, this week was 50% off the entire store. It was to the point they were even selling their fixtures, like the shelving where all of their products are on. Those are for sale. I went in there and it was super picked over, but I did find a base. It was a wire base. It was in their outdoor section, and it looked like it was supposed to have a pot in it. It looked like it was supposed to be a plant stand, but the pot portion was missing, and obviously no price tag. So I was like, ooh, if this base is cheap enough, because clearly it's broken. Something is missing from this. It's very obvious. They were not just selling this base on its own. So I was like, if it's cheap enough, $5, I'll take it and I can just cut a round wooden top and tile that. So go up to the register and I'm like, hey, this looks like it was supposed to be something else. It looks like the top part's missing. There's no price on it. How much is it? So she's like, well, I'm gonna need to look for it and it's gonna be full price. And I said, but wait, it's gonna be full price even though it's clearly missing, this is just the bottom. Yeah, it's gonna be full price. Well, it took her like 10 minutes of scrolling through her phone before she finally told me that she couldn't find the exact plant stand, but she found one similar that was $8.59. And so I was like, oh, okay, half off, because the entire store is 50% off. So I'm like, oh, okay, half off, $8.59. And she goes, no. $8.59 is the price. That includes the discount. And just on principle alone, I said, no, thank you. I'm not gonna pay full price for something that is clearly broken in a store that is going out of business and selling the shelving off of the walls. You're gonna charge me full price for something that is clearly broken that no one else, I guarantee you, is gonna buy, and you're gonna end up throwing it away. You won't give it to me for $5, and I had other things in my hand too. Like if roles reversed and I was the register girl, I would have been like, I don't know how much this is. I can't find it. There is nothing similar. You know what? You're buying these 3 items. I'll sell it to you for $1. Like seriously. No, full price. So I walked out of the Big Lots empty-handed and pissed. So let me just tell you, if you want to do a project similar to this and you want to mosaic tile something and you don't have anything, let me tell you where to not go, because I've been everywhere. Thrift stores in my town, I probably hit up 4 or 5, nothing. Not to mention the fact that I don't know what's going on with thrift stores, but literally in one of the thrift stores, you know the Dollar Tree plastic storage buckets that are $1.25? We all have a million of them. I saw one at the thrift store where they actually priced it at like $1.99 for a plastic tub that clearly came from the Dollar Tree for either $1 or $1.25. And at the thrift store, for a used Dollar Tree bucket, 75 cents more than I could go buy a new one. I don't know what's going on at thrift stores, but something's going on at thrift stores. So nothing was affordable. That's in my town of thrift stores. So I don't know what your town of thrift stores is like, but if it's anything like my town, skip the thrift stores. You're not gonna find anything cheap that you can redo. I'm just saying. You don't need to go to the Hobby Lobby. They don't have anything either. You don't need to go to the Michaels. Nope, they don't have anything. At Home, also, I checked At Home. Nothing cheap enough. Nope. But then I went to the Five Below and I found these. These are metal. They're technically stools, but that's perfect height for a side table outdoors. These puppies cost me $5.49. Again, the name is Five Below, yet these were over $5. What are we gonna do? So if you want to do this exact side table, head on over to your Five Below, because these metal stools are the cheapest thing that you're gonna find if you have to buy something. There you go. Yes, you're welcome. I did all the hunting for you. Five Below if you want these. So now we're ready to get into it. So if you've never mosaic tiled anything before, it is not difficult. It is not difficult at all. What you're gonna need is what you want to mosaic tile. You're gonna need mosaic tiles. Now, I've mosaic tiled before and I've not purchased special shaped tiles. These tiles are shaped in, I think they call it a petal, and there's a variety of sizes, and this is their shape. The reason why I was like over the moon for these is because the girl on YouTube Shorts, she turned these into flowers, and I thought that was so cute. But like I said, if you don't want to spend the money on specific mosaic tiles, I have mosaic tiled before by just using leftover tile that I've had. You can go to like the Lowe's or the Home Depot and buy the super cheapy white porcelain tiles, black porcelain tiles, whatever, and then take a hammer to them and break them all up into smaller shapes. So you do have that option as well for mosaic tiling. So surface, tiles, and then you are gonna wanna get pre-mixed grout. I think it's the easiest to use. You could also purchase, for less expensive, the powder grout and mix it yourself. But I have this left over from the tiling of the kitchen, so I'm gonna use this. I hope that it's like, I mean, it still feels pliable, so I think it's good. It's been sealed up. So you're gonna need some grout. This says that the color is linen. I don't care what the color is because I'm not gonna buy new grout because I already have grout. And then all else you're gonna need are some putty knives. I got a 3-pack at the Dollar Tree. I have gloves just so I don't get grout everywhere. And then towards the end, you're gonna need like an old grimy sponge and some water so that you can wipe off the grout from the top of your tiles. That's all you need. And then you'll have some amazing Mosaic tiled tables. So let's get started. So to get started, first we need to prep our surface. Now, these are metal and obviously they're painted with some sort of smooth paint. There's also a ginormous sticker that I need to get rid of. Now, I don't know about this surface and how well the grout will stick to it. So when in doubt, sand it out. So I'm gonna remove this sticker and then I just have a piece of 150 grit sandpaper and I'm just gonna lightly scuff up this paint to help the grout stick the tiles to this surface. So let me prep and then we'll get started tiling. Okay, surfaces are prepped, and geez Louise, those stickers were so hard to get off. Would it have been difficult to place the sticker on the bottom Five Below? I don't think so. And then we wouldn't have had to go through all the trouble of getting the sticker off the top. I mean, good thing I'm gonna mosaic tile top this, but if I wanted to use it as a stool, I would have never been able to get that sticker off without scraping the top. So, yeah. That's done. So now what I want to do, because I have specific tiles that are shaped like flower petals, I want to lay out my pattern without doing any grout or anything, just so I know where things can go. But if you're doing like the broken tile where you're not making a specific pattern, you can skip this layout step and then just go right to the grouting. So I'm gonna dump all my tiles out, make my pattern on each one of the tops, and then I can get to grouting. Basically, we're just gonna put a little bit of grout on the bottom of each tile and like glue it down. So let me get my pattern laid out and then we can get to grouting. Okay, so I have laid out my pattern on both of my side tables. Now, nothing is glued down, so if you're laying out a pattern, don't bump it because then all of your hard work will be for naught. So just be very gingerly, and you know, if you've got like cats like Joe and especially Carl, be extra gingerly. Now, I mathed it out, so I used every single tile in this container minus one. And for the most part, I mean, the patterns aren't exactly the same, but they're very, very similar. So here are my patterns. You can see they're similar, but not exact. And I just tried to math out like all my matching colors in matching sizes. And then obviously there weren't exactly the same amount. That's where there's a little bit of variation. But for the most part, I tried to make them as similar as possible. And I think I did a pretty good job. Okay, so now that our pattern is laid out, the fun and tediousness can begin. So you're gonna wanna get your grout, whether you're mixing it or you're using a pre-mixed grout, you're gonna wanna get some sort of a spreader. It doesn't even have to be one of these putty knives. It could be a plastic knife, a popsicle stick, it could be anything. All you're gonna do is take one tile off at a time, butter the back with a little bit of grout, and then place it right back where you got it. And you're gonna do that for all of this, and if you're making two like me, for all of that over there. So I am gonna get gloves and put gloves on so I don't get grout everywhere. And you might be asking, Sheri, you're doing this indoors. Well, so far, you've seen it's not messy at all. And if it's still hot outside for you, like it is for me, doing it indoors is gonna be the most comfortable. And I'm not worried about making it a mess. So yeah, do it inside, put on a movie, you'll be fine. I've got my pre-mixed grout already and it's perfect. I don't even know what I use this for because it's not white. They call this color linen, so it's almost like a beigey, not a bright white. So I'm just gonna take a little baby bit of it, pick up a tile, butter the back of the tile. You don't have to use a lot, but you wanna use enough to like stick it down and stick it right where you got it and give it a little pressy press. Yay! There's one. And now you just gotta keep going. So like I said, maybe put on a movie, music, listen to some jams, and butter all the backs of these tiles.
Lights, camera, action.
Okay, so I've got both tables done as far as sticking on the tiles with the grout. What you want to make sure of is that when you're doing it, you don't want any grout higher than your tiles, because after this is dry, we're gonna go in and fill in all the blank spots with more grout. So if you have any grout above where your tiles are, when it dries, it's gonna be there, stuck above, not smooth and level with everything else. This is the table I did first. So it is like, it's pretty dry so far. I looked on the back of my instructions and it didn't say how long we had to let this dry before we could go and grout it. But I feel like if you can run your hand over it and none of your tiles move, you're probably pretty safe. This one I just finished. It is like, I don't think I want to turn it upside down or rub my hand over it very hard. We're gonna let these dry, 30 minutes. Let's take a lunch break. And then we can come in and fill in all the blank spaces with the rest of the grout. So, yay, lunch break time. Lunch break is over and I am ready to grout the entire tops of these. But because these tables don't have like a lip or an edge and it just kind of rolls over and drops off into nothing, I do want to try my best to keep my edge as clean as possible. So I went ahead and just used some painter's tape and made a cute little painter's tape grass skirt around the edge as best I could, so that when I peel this off, hopefully my grout line is kind of uniform and kind of clean. Now that's done, we are gonna fill in all the empty spaces with grout. Now, if you've tiled anything before, if you watched my tiling my kitchen video, we're gonna slather on a bunch of the grout. I have a old sponge and some water, and I have another Tupperware full of clean water, because when we grout this, we want to try to wipe off as much grout from the tiles as we possibly can without digging down into the blank spaces where the grout is supposed to go. Same old grout I was using and my same old putty knife I was using, and I'm gonna press it all in, and then when I have it all pressed in, I'm going to use my sponge to wipe away any of the excess. Now, that needs to dry for 24 hours. And just like wood filler, sometimes it's gonna shrink in. You might have to come back with a second coat. We won't know that until this first coat is completely dry. But I'm gonna try to pack it in as best as I can. So yeah, it's pretty easy. Slather on some grout, wipe it away. So I have gotten the first coat on both of my little side tables. It is not all the way dry, but there are some parts that I want to go in and fill in with some more grout. So I want to do that now. Hey! And then I'll make sure that I get all of these tiles clean as soon as it's like... It's not like it needs to be all the way dry, but when you're grouting and you wipe it down, you can't really keep wiping and wiping, because then you're just wiping away the non-dried grout. So you kind of have to wait for it for a little bit, and then when you see like the fog or the haze on the tiles, that's when you can start like working and cleaning off that haze, and then let the remainder of the grout dry hard. And according to this package, I think it has to dry for like a full 24 hours. Yeah, drying time, 24 hours. You don't want to let the haze sit on your tiles for 24 hours. You want to try to get the haze off as soon as you can, but don't do it too soon, because like I did on like some of them over here, I dug into the grout because it wasn't all the way dry. I was trying to rush the process. So I want to go back in, do another thin layer. I need to work on some of the edges where, you know, I'm trying to do like a rolled over kind of an edge, and I'm missing some grout on some of the edges. And then we'll wait 24 hours and hopefully they look great. Also, I kind of decided for this grout, I don't know if it's because I've had it forever and it's been sitting, but I like to water it down a little bit. So I put it on with my gloved hand, and then I took my gloves off and I just dipped my hand in my water bucket that I have here and got my hand a little bit damp, and then like went like this and got the grout like a lot smoother when it was more watery. So you just kind of want to play around with it. I don't really think there's a wrong way or a right way. You just want it as smooth as possible and as clean as possible. That's really it. It's kind of easy, actually. Okay, so I have my second layer on both of them and I've just wiped them as best as I can. It's pretty clean if you ask me, but I do still see a little bit of dips. But before I go in and just like repair, like add just a little bit more grout in some areas, I do want to take the tape off before the grout completely dries to see what sort of a disaster my edge is, because I'm worried that if I wait till it dries, then when I go to peel the tape off, it's just gonna crack and break all around. So fingers crossed that the tape situation is okay. Yeah, I don't know. I have water by me in case I need to like and repair, but we will see what happens here, which I think I can. I mean, so far it's not bad. I mean, I've taken off one piece of tape so far, but I feel like if I get a wet finger and like dampen the edge, it might be okay. I'm not super mad at it at this point. You can see a little bit of my edge right there, and I think just so that this blends in a little bit more, just a tiny bit of water and just kind of like tap it to smooth that edge out. That might work. I can also lightly sand it, which I don't really want to at the end when everything is dry. I might have to just to make a little bit of a smoother transition between grout and table, but we're gonna play that by ear once it's all dry. But for the most part, I am pretty pleased. They're gonna look really cute. Okay, let me take this tape off. Okay, so tape is off. I have smoothed out the edges with water and my sponge as best as I could. I filled in some of the lower parts, but there's still gonna be low parts. I mean, I could sit here all day and like lightly fill in. And I don't wanna sit here all day and do that. So I have wiped down my tiles. They might get a little bit foggier as this dries, but it shouldn't be difficult to clean them off. So side table number one, just needing to dry for 24 hours, and side table number two. So yeah, you know the drill. Next time you see it, these are gonna be by the fire pit. Don't mind me. I am just sitting out by my fire pit, enjoying my mocha. Oh, I have to go get something. It's so nice to have a spot to put my mocha down. Side tables are done. I've sealed the grout. Mwah, I love them so much. You want to see them? Because here they are. Dun, 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 dun. Look how cute. Oh my God. They are so cute and the perfect addition to this fire pit area. I love the bright colors. Everything is as I envisioned it. And I love it! Okay, so yay, side tables are done. I mean, who knew we could take a $5.50 stool, a $23 package of tiles, some leftover grout we had, and some leftover sealer for that matter, and turn it into a one-of-a-kind, or in this case, a two-of-a-kind, beautiful side table. I love this so much. It is amazing. It didn't take much time at all. Super easy. And if you have something, a stool, a table, that you're like, this isn't the greatest table, Mosaic tile top it. It's so easy. It's so easy. You guys can do it. Faux show. Yeah, I got 2 amazing side tables and all I spent was $17 for each one. Now, it was of benefit to me that I had extra grout. If not, you are gonna have to buy. I went through 1 tub for both tables, and then I also had this Professional's Choice 511 impregnator seal. I have this left over as well, and this doesn't take much. I don't even know how much this is, but if I find it on the Amazons, I will link it in the description box below. I just followed the directions. This was quick and easy. I used a sponge brush to put it on, then you wait 3 to 5 minutes, and then you wipe off the excess, and now this grout is sealed. This wouldn't be a step I would say that you would have to do if you were doing a mosaic table for indoors, but since I'm putting these outdoors and it's gonna be in the elements, I want to try to protect them as much as possible. So hence why I went out in my garage, grabbed this sealer. Golly, guys, I mean, they're a thing of beauty, don't you agree? So yeah, there you have it, and there it is. You too can mosaic tile pretty much anything. And like I mentioned earlier, if you don't want to spend the money on, fancy petal-shaped tiles, and you happen to have leftover tiles from a project you did in the past, break those puppies up, mosaic the top. Easy peasy. You can do it, I promise you. That said, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Also, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all of the DIY Wednesday videos I push out, which is every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you share this video with your family and friends. And as always, thanks for hanging out.